I like to talk about AI. I've been following a lot of what people have been doing with ChatGPT. Yeah. And there's this trend where they're calling it jailbreaking ChatGPT, because you know how like ChatGPT prevents you from requesting certain prompts from them. Like, I don't know, like if it's something raunchy or like inappropriate, they'll say, you know, we can't output that kind of request.
Right.
And there are people who have been able to trick ChatGPT to basically ignore those like whatever locks that the company has on ChatGPT so that they could request these kinds of prompts.
Okay.
And my concern about that, not because they're requesting it, but that this is a practice where it's not really repeatable, because every time someone breaks through this sort of lock, ChatGPT will just update and then prevent them from making those kinds of requests or like those workarounds. And people are legitimately like spending time, like a lot of time, creating these sort of workarounds. And how should I put this? It's like imagine if someone was a software engineer, and by the way, I am a software engineer, which is why this kind of thing is really interesting to me. But if they're a software engineer, imagine if you spend like a day working on something that's not going to work the next day. Like to me, that's a huge waste of time. But it seems like there are people who think that this is a legitimate area of practice or something like that, where they're devoting that effort to get the AI to do something which is not repeatable at all. Like, I mean, how sustainable?
Dude, the only thing I could say is like, it's more of a waste of your time to worry about how these guys are wasting their time. Well, some people may be doing it just for the fun of it, I guess.
You know, the Go Off Kings on Twitch, they've been doing a lot of stuff, and Chris James also, and not even a show, but like, yeah, they'll have I was trying to make Dolly, which is the photo generator one, do like Bernie Sanders in like a attack helicopter or something like that, and they won't do like celebrity figures or something like that. They have like holds in place of that. So you can try to do like old Vermont senator balding in an attack helicopter, like that sort of thing. And it like those sorts of workarounds. Like to me, it does kind of show of like. This is a lot of people wasting time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's no doubt it's a lot of wasted time. But I imagine there are people like who are doing that just to see how the thing works, right? I mean, isn't that like the equivalent of like, why is that dude taking apart his engine? Mm-hmm. It's not broken. I get the feeling that's what it's about, but I don't know. There's a lot.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that most of it is probably them just like playing around, but like I've seen like I forget which media outlet, but like they were caught using AI to generate their entire news articles. Like it's my concern is really just the rapid adoption of such a tool where it's not really reliable right now.
Oh yeah.
And so
without a doubt,
it's constantly changing. Yeah. And so like even though these particular people are just playing around, there are other people who see this and like, oh, I can use this to like do part of my job for me, and then they develop this whole process to generate these articles.
I'm waiting for the first article. It's probably already happened, where somebody gets ChatGPT or some variation of that to write their will or to write a contract or something like that. And then they go to court, and then the judge is like, you screwed up here.
Yeah, the people that think it can do a really good job on this stuff are people that can't do that job in the first place adequately.
Well, yeah, I mean, right. I mean, there's going to be times like that, and it's going to get better. But, they did a study, I guess, apparently, where they, like, used a ChatGPT or something to that effect. And they I don't know, they had X number of people with medical complaints engage with the ChatGPT and with a real doctor, and they found like the diagnoses from the ChatGPT were more or less consistent with the doctors, but they found that the ChatGPT was like 45% more empathetic than the doctors. And there's no doubt in my mind that this stuff is going to be deployed before it's ready. I mean, like every other technology, this has happened. I still have emotional scars from getting a Verizon DSL when they first rolled it out and how annoying it was. They rolled it out before it was ready. They do that all the time.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. Appreciate the call.
There's just one thing I want to mention. If you guys know the movie Arrival, right? Like if you check out Ted Chiang's other short stories, he has a short story sort of about AI where like he imagines a future where science research is all conducted by AI, but because of the output, it's so advanced that normal humans don't understand. So then there's another subset of study where humans are trying to interpret the output of the AI in order to understand like what the AI actually generated. And I recommend checking that out because it is a possible future where like if we adopt this technology before it's ready, there might be a scenario where like AI is going to do stuff and we have no idea what it's doing, and now we're on the hook for trying to figure out what it's doing.
Yeah. I think it goes in the other direction. Thanks for the call. We did an experiment with ChatGPT on Left Reckoning to see if it could pump out a script on Karl Marx's 18th Brumaire of Louis Napoleon. And it was kind of humorous and like sort of did, but then there's like key points of like, okay, it mentions he like wrote a coup de power, but didn't mention that Louis Napoleon was elected president 4 years before that and basically did a self-coup to maintain power. Like those are key details that you need in there, and you only know that it's missing if you have the previous experience to identify that. Otherwise, you're like very impressed. Look at this thing, put this out. And I just think like...
But that's a problem also with just historians in general too. Like you could be reading that from somebody else. It's just that the real danger is the tendency for assuming
authority.
that ChatGPT is going to have more, is going to be more, is the amalgamation of all the world's wisdom in one entity, as opposed to just another voice that may or may not, is guided by its inputs.
And our inputs is what is actually human beings. So like, I don't think that AIs can advance much beyond human. I think it can basically just reproduce like the best work a human can do, maybe faster, but I don't think it will ever get to the point like in that story he mentioned where it's something we have to decode because it's so far beyond our capacities. Like, I don't think that is, I don't think it's like logically feasible, but I also don't think like you see how much energy a ChatGPT prompt costs, and it's hundreds of times a Google search. Like, I just don't think technically it's possible either.
I don't know. I mean, we have that problem sometimes deciphering like something like Dave Rubin will say or something.
Yeah, but that's not because it's so advanced.
At least we don't think it is.
I mean, that'd be a really big about face.
Oh my God.
We've misunderstood. David's actually...
Ladies and gentlemen, I am announcing my resignation today because it came to my attention that Dave Rubin is actually a genius.
We were wrong.